just want to take a moment of silence for what's going on in Paris right now. I know, obviously the loss of any life is tragic, so let's just have one moment. Thank you. And good evening. I want to thank everybody for coming out here today to the DA Beach Club, which is a place that brings back a lot of memories, almost as many memories as some of the faces in this room. I've grown up here, I've worked here as a lifeguard, and I've served some of you, but that's a story for another time. It's a fitting place for where we are now as we gather for my first fundraiser for the campaign. Already, the amount of support and encouragement has been overwhelming. I think nobody thought we'd get this many people in the room. We didn't have to sell anything that wasn't legal. Already, and I would say so many of you reached out to me, voicemails, text messages, some of you more than others. Lou Goldsmith, how are you? Good to see you, Lou. You wanted to be acknowledged, I worked it into the speech. And shared with me your excitement about where we want to go. And it's about more than a political campaign. Many of you have shared with me what you have said, your hopes and your aspirations for the future of this community that I know we all love and care about. And I know many of you are tired of getting fake promises, and you're too smart to believe that there's out there some silver bullet to all our problems. You're not looking for a miracle worker. You're just looking for someone who will listen to you and then go to work on your behalf. In essence, you want someone with a track record to get things done. As many of you know, I've spent my adult life, 9 years. You have to phrase things creatively when you give a speech, otherwise, it doesn't look as glowing as you might think. My adult life working on behalf of the community. When I got out of college, I was called to public service. Working for Senator Klein, who gave me the opportunity to partner with so many of you around this room, and I could go out and start naming names, but at 10 o'clock the open bar ends and they're going to yank us all out of here, so we got to be careful. But hearing your concerns and pushing to get something actually done on your behalf. Working together, we did just that. We brought the first bay to Van Nest in some 20 years. We pushed for air monitors along the Craigs Neck commercial corridor, where traffic is often at a standstill and emissions are spewing into the air. And we secured transportation resources, from setting up town halls for the bus issues that we're having in Country Club and the BX24, to securing shuttle service for Pilot Cove at City Island. I don't see Virginia here, but I know she's with us and Boyd for sure. Most importantly, we pushed for meaningful safety improvements, from pioneering the borough's first court watcher program to stop repeat offenders from getting off the hook, to securing abandoned properties that were left behind in the foreclosure crisis. We took a strong stand to say establishments that threaten the peace, and even in some cases our safety, would no longer be tolerated in this section of the city. The record speaks for itself. 4 places, gone. Well, some might have called this John Doyle and the War on Fun. There they are. And Nicole, she's over here too. That was a catchphrase they can. The truth is, many of these lounges destroyed their neighbors' quality of life and forced some to contemplate leaving our community. That should never happen. Yeah! I didn't pay her to do that, in case anyone was wondering. After 5 rewarding years, I took on a new challenge at Jacoby Medical Center, where, working with our elected officials, we were able to start an important gun violence program in the 49th Precinct, Stand Up to Violence. In its first year, we've seen a 48% reduction in shootings in that area, making a meaningful difference in the gun violence problems that plague this community and so many others. Outside of my day job, and I do go to work every day. I know some of you don't think that when you get that 4 a.m. email, but I assure you, I still have to get up and go. I continued our work in our community as a neighborhood activist, championing the causes that matter to so many of you. Serving on the board of 2 dynamic organizations, the City Island Civic Association, and I see some of our people right over here, and the 45th Precinct Community Council, and I know we have some of them over on the other side of the room. We've worked together to improve the quality of life in our area. Whether it's countering out-of-scale development, pushing for parks, or a universal pre-kindergarten, or defeating unaccountable bureaucracy run amok exemplified by the Bloomberg City Island Bridge. I've seen the good that can happen when people come together for a common purpose. That should be the call of public service, and that's what I hope to do if I'm elected to the City Council. As many of you know, when people run for office, they make crazy pledges they do not have the power to do on their own. I'm not going to get in any sort of limitations here, but I can't promise you that I will cut down every single development like a tree on the first day I become councilman. I can't promise you to go out there and change everything on day one. I mean, I will try to make the Bronx great. As great as anyone who's ever made the Bronx. But the truth is that people who make those promises and tell you what you want to hear because it sounds that great, the world doesn't work that way. I mean, it really doesn't. And the pledge I will make to you tonight is that we will hold ourselves to the higher standard that we can. I think many people have seen the recent news that the City Council, it would be nice to have a job where you could vote yourself a 71% raise. But if you look at what people are going through, people who are hurting, policemen, firemen, whomever, who do not have the ability to do that, it's an absolute outrage that anyone would consider to give themselves a 71% raise, and I would never support anything like that. What I will do is make a pledge to hold myself to a higher standard, a standard I expect all of you to enforce. For this reason, I'll institute participatory budgeting, to give transparency how your tax dollars are spent in your community. And that map back there is a big part of that, in terms of bringing people together, bringing in stakeholders from all the different communities to talk about how their public dollars are spent in the neighborhood. This happens throughout the city. It doesn't happen in this district. Wonder why. But it is something that we need to do, and that is something I'm absolutely committed to doing. And many of you, I do notice a few Post-its up there. I know someone put a Post-it on City Island saying too many Doyles, but I took that one down. Maybe someday. My mom would be proud to hear that. To ensure your voices are heard, and that I never truly forget who's in charge, each and every one of you, the voters. I'll hold a town hall annually in every neighborhood as an office. Simply put, democracy is not a spectator sport. Too often, those in office seem to be everywhere during the election season. You see them on TV, you get their mail, they'll call your house about 500 times. And, they'd even rent the Goodyear blimp if they thought it would get your attention. But after the polls close, so many of these same people are nowhere to be found. Some might say these individuals joined the Witness Protection Program. I don't work that way. I think many of you know that. I'm a pretty persistent person. I was told recently that I was a pain in the ass, but that I'm a nice pain in the ass. I'll make sure my public schedule is available on my website, right over here, behind this blown-out version of my forehead. If anyone wants, I'm going to sell that little space for advertising after this. Because you have a right to know who your representative is meeting with on the public dollar, and you have a right to know what issues are being prioritized. That's what I can do on my own, without needing any bills to be passed or promising you something I cannot do. But there's much more we need to accomplish. Young people, many of my friends, and there are many young people here, so let's give a hand for that. Young people get involved in the political process. But the truth is, many young people leave this area because it doesn't make sense to pay a little less in rent and then suffer a 90-minute commute downtown. We need increased revenue to build new transportation means within our area. Whether it's the East Side Metro North access or ferry service to Throgs Neck or Pelham Park, all options need to be on the table. It's also simply intolerable that the unprecedented buildup of retail within our area has been matched by a solid commitment of infrastructure dollars to improve the traffic flow. Working with my fellow activists in the East Bronx Traffic Coalition, we've advocated for changes to support our growing community and robust economic activity. We've seen some improvements, but so much more needs to be done. I would be in a stronger position to do this if I was in office. Still working, don't worry. It's not yet 10 o'clock at that point. Over the last 2 decades, the NYPD has made tremendous strides to bringing crime to its lowest levels in recorded history. At the same time, our community hasn't always received the attention it deserves. We need to build upon the neighborhood policing model championed by Commissioner Brad.
Pick your shoulder up.
Can we got it? There we go. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Commissioned by Commissioner Brad to put 1,100 more cops on the streets. An undermanned community such as ours deserves nothing less. We need strong community schools within each neighborhood. That's why my family originally moved to City Island. It was the draw of an excellent public schools, PS 175, and I know many PS 175 people are around here right now, so there we go. Today, schools are spending more and more time preparing for standardized tests that penalize both the students and the teachers. We need an education system that emphasizes authentic learning. Because one day, one test is not an accurate reflection of what one student can achieve. And it's not an accurate reflection of that teacher's ability to teach either. Like many of you, I walk our streets. I think I'm on the street all the time these days. I talk to all of my neighbors, and I've heard so many of your stories. I've seen firsthand that some of my friends have been lifted into the middle class by the solid foundation of the labor movement. Like so much of what we talked about tonight, when people organize behind a common purpose, all of us stand to benefit from that. It's a very common truth. So let me be clear, I will be a very strong supporter of labor in every case. So we have some labor people in the house, so we get a little loud. As long as no one's on the clock right now. As many of you know, or many of you have moved or stayed in this community because you value our suburban atmosphere, and you also a small town feel. If you don't have it, you probably want an area within walking distance to experience it. We need to preserve our open space and make sure people can appreciate the natural beauty that the Bronx has to offer. Because nobody knows unless they run into someone who tells them the Bronx is a quarter parkland, and we need to do more to maintain those areas, to build on those areas, to preserve those areas, so that everyone can have a little, peace and quiet within their neighborhood. We have so much more to do. If we're serious about the challenges and achieving results, and not just talking about them, we'd better elect someone with the vision of what needs to get done and the track record to actually accomplish it. I had the experience, both in and out of government, of working with you and for you on the issues we care about. And I wish to continue doing so in a position that would allow me to better serve your needs. The thing is, this is not an easy task, and it cannot be done alone. I need your continued support, not just tonight, although this is pretty amazing tonight. I couldn't have asked for anything better, so thank you all for that. And I can't do it alone. One vote does not win an election. For too long, too many politicians have thought of themselves as rulers, not servants, and thought of you as passive observers, not active participants. I'm running for office to act as a channel for your needs and your ideas. And if you want to be an active part of the political process, I need your help. I'm not asking for your good wishes, but for your continued activism. And together, we can improve this area we call home. You can, a few different ways to get involved. One, Louisa, who's around here somewhere, I saw her. She's going around with the sign-up forms to volunteer and do things that way. You can also sign up on the website. So far, we have a great support here tonight. Incredible amount of donations. I think we're going to shock a lot of people when the filing comes out. But as of an hour ago, only one person had actually signed the volunteer form on my website. Thank you, Mom. I think you kind of did it by accident, but I still appreciate it. I think I had your number, but I appreciate it all the same. And again, this is about everyone coming together to accomplish great things. So thank you all very much. God bless.